Good evening and welcome to Health is Wealth, brought to you by the Chicago chapter of the National Black Nurses Association and CAN TV. I'm Janice Henry, the host. Our regular host, Bernetta Pearson, is ill, so keep her in your prayers and in your thoughts. Today we have with us Mr. Dan Hostler from Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center, and he's going to tell us about his program.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you very much. We have a harm reduction program at 2942 West Lake Street, so it's near the corner of Sacramento and West Lake, near the California Green Line stop. We offer free addiction treatment services, so there's no charge to anything that we do. We use a variety of evidence-based treatments that are very unique to Chicago. We've put them together in a way that we have not seen before. That's having some pretty spectacular results. I personally am a product of Alcoholics Anonymous, January 22nd, 2005. But there is about 85 to 90% fallout for Alcoholics Anonymous. So for the vast majority of the people who use Alcoholics Anonymous, who don't, where it does not succeed, we have a variety of other programs available to them, including Smart Recovery. Smart Recovery is the way that we typify it. We look at Alcoholics Anonymous as being powerless. Smart Recovery is powerful. And so we have a very robust Smart Recovery program. We also have Men for Sobriety and Women for Sobriety. So we have three different systems that three different modalities that we offer our people that come in to visit us. We have treatment programs that we put together. So we're a walk-in clinic. An appointment is not necessary. And we have a very chock-full selection of groups that we offer. And the groups that we offer go from example, intensive, we're all outpatients, so we have no residency. So we're open from 8:30 to 5 o'clock every single day. We have your traditional outpatient and intensive outpatient. So we have those groups, very classic. And then we also have acupuncture. Now acupuncture has therapeutic value to it. It's taught by a trauma counselor who is licensed in trauma. We have yoga as well. And our yoga is so that we get a lot of populations that are uninsured, don't have any ways of paying for the services that we have. So we make it so that it's accessible to them. We have blocks, straps, pads, and everything. So you can just come as you are and you can experience our yoga. We have REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. We have trauma group. We have rage reduction. We have seeking life purpose and meaning. It's called logotherapy. We have spirituality. We have art therapy. We have music therapy. And then we have Alcoholics Anonymous, a very strong Alcoholics Anonymous group. As well, we have Smart Recovery, and we have Men and Women for Sobriety. So we have a wide group. When we put a treatment plan together, it also involves individual counseling. So all of these are without charge.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the RAGE group.
Well, the RAGE group is it's kind of the opposite of anger management, because we've found that typically venting and getting it out of your system doesn't really get it out of your system. Many times that backfires and it can actually cause additional rage. So what we've done is we use rational emotive behavior therapy in our rage reduction. So it helps us thought catch when we have a compulsion or we have a reaction to something. We actually catch that thought. by recognizing it as an activating event. And then when we delay the reaction from the activating event, we have a moment where we can actually make a choice of the type of reaction that we have, and it works incredibly well.
Okay. All right. Tell me about the yoga group.
Well, the yoga group is made so that we can actually get back in touch with the trauma. That there is a lot of theory out there, a lot of evidence that shows that we carry this trauma around in our bodies. So we have our populations that come in who we teach stretching, we teach deep breathing, we teach centering, meditation, balance. These are easy things to do that you don't really have to get into tights, you don't have to get out of your clothing. It's very accessible. And we get a lot of compliments on it. It's a very well-attended class.
Okay. So anybody can take advantage of your programs? You don't need referrals or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
We like referrals because we have 40 linkages. We work very well. We work with Loretto, for example. We work with a lot of organizations. We like to know where they come from so that it can be part of the medical record. So we keep medical records. We're DASA licensed as well. So we like that when that comes in. We also work with returning citizens. We work with TASC. So we need to know if there was a parole officer involved that made the referral or if there was another counselor that made the referral. But if you don't have that information, come in anyway.
Okay. So are your programs and services mainly for adults, or are children a part of your services, or young adults, or what are your age ranges for service?
At the moment, we're 18 and above. Very shortly, we actually will be involving family reunification. We have only been accepting patients since January of last year.
Okay.
So on the marketplace, we're actually relatively new. But that's the next phase for us, is to be able to help families reunify themselves, put themselves back together. But right now, we're 18 and above.
Okay. So everything is free, and I think I'm going to keep mentioning that that word free, because sometimes not having insurance and not having the ability to pay hinders people from getting treatment and recovery.
That's right.
So everything is free. So tell us, like, what a typical day is like at Above and Beyond.
Well, we open up at 8:30, and we're in there beforehand. We open the doors up beforehand, and we typically have, we're flooded with people usually about 8:30. We have Panera. We're on their donors list, so we have Panera and a hot coffee in the back for free. So we have a little kitchen area. There's a lot of commotion. You would think that the crowds that we get have a tendency to isolate, have a tendency to be antisocial, but we have exactly the opposite, as a matter of fact. The people that come in smile easily. Even if you don't feel that way when you come in the door, it grows on you, and you respond to it. And then everyone divides up into classes. We have a calendar that each of the counselors puts together a treatment plan with the client. And so the client is actually an architect in their own treatment plan, so that they can have buy-in, they can have a say-so in how that looks, and so forth. And so they'll go to their respective groups. They'll be in their groups. Our groups typically run an hour and 15 minutes. So they'll go to 2 groups in the morning, so that'll be about 2.5 hours. And then we have AA, Smart Recovery, or Men and Women for Sobriety, so that'll be another hour and 15 minutes. So they can get, anybody can get about 3 hours and 45 minutes of treatment time. That's without your individual session with your counselor in a day when they come in.
Okay. So tell me about Smart Recovery. I don't think that's a term that I've heard before.
Well, Smart Recovery has really been around since the 80s. It's been around for a long period of time. It's based on a series of tools. They have a fabulous handbook, And when you come in to a SMART meeting, which we held at noon every single day, anyone is open, so they're all considered open meetings. You can come in even if you just have some curiosity and you want to see what it looks like and so forth. We welcome you in.
Okay.
And there's a whole process that you go through of opening up, greeting each other and so forth, and putting an agenda. One of the more important tools in Smart Recovery is REBT. So it's this process of being able to thought catch, being able to think about your reaction before you react. But Smart Recovery also has a huge variety of other tools that you can use, and they're in this marvelous handbook that they have.
Okay. So we have a caller.
Hi, I'm calling. I know that you mentioned something about a rage reduction program, which seems to be like a anger management type program. And I just had a kind of a general question. How do you know if you or someone that you know needs an anger management class as opposed to just maybe, having a bad temper or something like that? How do you know when it's severe enough where you should go to a program?
Typically what we'll use as criteria is, and you may have something to say about this as well, is if it causes unwanted consequences. If it's affecting their environment, if it's affecting their employment, if it's affecting a relationship, if it's affecting their relationship with the outside world, an employer, for example, or children, in an unwanted or adverse fashion. So if it's causing some damages and it cannot, they can't seem to stop it, regardless of promises. There's usually a cycle of remorse that's involved in this whole process where they'll feel horrible about this afterwards, but it's almost as if they lose control. And if it happens with regularity, what we do is free. There's no reason that you can't stop down and talk to us about it. We focus, our mission is on substance use disorder. So substance abuse, those kinds of things, and rage reduction is a piece within that. However, if you'd like to stop down, we have these booklets. This is one of them that we have these for free. We give them out. So this is written by Terry London, who is an expert in REBT. He's on our board of directors, and he teaches this. So you're welcome to stop down and talk to us about it.
And I would just say that anything that really makes you uncomfortable, you need to talk to somebody about it. There's a difference between people getting mad, and rage. There's just a difference. And, sometimes as family members or loved ones, we don't really understand that difference. But, we should talk to someone and find out what the difference is. Because rage often has horrible consequences. Okay. So I hope that helped, caller. So tell us about your facility. I have not been there myself, but I understand it's a beautiful facility.
Well, it is. It's very different than what people expect. It looks a little bit like a Restoration Hardware store, if you're familiar with that. There's a lot of elegance on the inside, high ceilings, exposed wood. All of it looks very expensive, but it was put together on a budget. It was put together with Overstock.com and just making good purchases and so forth, but it has an elegant feel to it. And the idea is our clients are worth that. They feel special when they come in, and this is reflected in our programs and as well in the facility itself. So we just purchased the building just recently, so we're going to be making some additional improvements to the building. It'll expand our capacity by almost 100% because we're running out of room. So these are exciting things that are happening to us right now.
So tell us about the kind of people that come to your programs.
Well, I would say that we have about half opioids and we have about half alcohol abuse clients. So it's a mixture, and many times when you get into opioids or you get into heroin, you'll end up with combinations. I would say most of the people that come in fact, I would say virtually everybody has what's called a COD, a co-occurring disorder, where there is some type of a mental issue going on there, where they're trying to self-medicate to help their condition. So we have to diagnose this when they come in, and we have our counselors are very well qualified. They all have CADCs. They have most of them master's degrees, and we actually have an LCSW that runs an intern program as well. So we have a very structured intern program.
Okay.
So the people that come in are seeking relief. They want to feel good about their lives. They want to feel good about how they act. They want to feel good about their employment. So we have an employment program as well, an internal employment program, where we teach them life skills so that they can learn about budgets, about how to show up, how to be dependable at work, teach them skill sets on these types of things. And we have a housing where we actually help them find apartments and so forth. The idea is we want to stay in touch with them and assist them for a 3-year period of time.
Okay.
So after they
That's
graduate, they're welcome to continue to come back. We have many alumni that come in and continue to come throughout their, throughout their recovery.
Okay.
And so nothing stops. And our feeling is that if we can get them employed and if we can get them in housing, that we will help them remain stable and they can return to being contributing members of society after a 3-year period of time.
So, if people don't need insurance to use your services, well, what about, do you find that the majority of people that use your services actually do have insurance? Because I'm wondering about the people who have issues that are, that need different kind of treatment, because sometimes what we forget about when we talk about people that have addiction problems or mental health issues is we forget about their medical issues.
That's right.
So I'm wondering, you don't have to have insurance to use your programs, but how do you refer out those people that that need other medical services?
Well, and as I said, we have 40 linkages, so we have a lot of relationships with other organizations that will take people in. And with the budget problems in the state continuing to worsen the financial condition of many of the institutions that we have, it's kind of hard for us to find ways to get people in. But we do have relationships with other organizations. Stroger Hospital is still available. The emergency room sometimes, as much as we, hate to misuse that, which we don't. But sometimes we have situations that are dire enough where it calls for that. But we've got a wide array of different relationships that we can call upon to be able to help, and our linkage partners jump in to help us. So we're trying to be a one-stop. So if somebody's got a problem, they can stop in. We'll do a screening. We'll do an assessment. We'll see where they stand, and if they need to be referred out, then we'll get that moving immediately.
Okay. So, is anyone ever turned away from your program?
We have never turned anybody away.
Okay.
No, we have never
Okay.
turned anybody away. We have referred sometimes. We have referred people out almost immediately. We've had some pretty severe psychological issues that we're not prepared to help, and we have referred them out, but we will never turn anybody away.
Okay, I'm going to put the overhead up so people can get your information. So, Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center, 2942 West Lake Street, 773-940-2960. So, just want to make sure that that information is available to people, so that they can call you if they have questions or concerns. So tell us about anything else that you want to talk about Above and Beyond.
Okay, well, I would like to talk about the visionary for just a moment too. Brian Cressy is the person that's made all of this possible.
Okay.
And he's put this on its feet in a very selfless manner to help the people who need it the most. The idea and the mission that we work very hard to
Okay.
complete.
So we have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is this. I understand that if you have a relative who suffers with addiction, recovery is a process, and a process that you may have to go through more than one time before you get the desired result. I kind of wanted to know if you could maybe walk us through what that's like and the steps you can take as a family member to be supportive, as well as maybe speak a little bit about why sometimes people have to go through the process several times before they can finally kick the habit for good.
Sure, I'm happy to talk about that. We're a harm reduction model, and that's different than an abstinence model. Alcoholics Anonymous is typically considered an abstinence model, and I've got some things to say about that, but it is typically considered, so in other words, if you break the rules, you're out. And
So before you do that, tell us what the difference is between a harm reduction model and an we know what abstinence is, but tell us what a harm reduction model is.
okay, harm reduction basically means as long as you're on a path and you're getting better and you're reducing the harm, we're moving in the right direction, and we're going to help you do that. So we stay away from words like relapse. It's a lapse. A lapse is not always a relapse, and there's an effect, a relapse violation effect, that actually will trigger somebody who's using to just disappear for a long period of time. Just to really overuse and go back to where they were immediately. Whereas we will welcome you back in and see what we can do to not invoke that guilt, shame, and remorse. So it's more of a non-judgmental atmosphere that we have. And that doesn't mean that we just accept when somebody does it, but we've got mechanisms by which we can assist you to get through this. I will tell you that the family being supportive is extremely important. And that doesn't mean that the family should suffer abuse. There are organizations that can help with this, and these are part of the myriad of different linkages that we have that we can help you with. So I think being supportive is very important. If the family has agreement, if there is a problem, if it is causing problems in the environment with the family and so forth, convince them to come in. There has to be a desire. If there's not a desire, then it's very difficult to do anything. But if there's a desire, even a spark of a desire, have them come in. We get very excited about this stuff. Many of us have been through this before. We've seen it from many different angles. I have seen it from different angles myself. And we'll spend time with your loved one to sit down and talk to them and talk about the alternatives and how we can work through this.
But you also have to take care of yourself. Addiction is hard. One person uses drugs or one person uses alcohol, but it affects everyone. And if that person is not willing to get help, then you probably need to try and get some help for yourself.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
So these are things that we can help you with, though. And you've got a phone number that you can call where you can talk to us, and we're very easily accessible.
All right. So Above and Beyond, 2942 West Lake Street, 773-940-2960.
I do have one other thing that I would like to mention. Is that okay?
Okay.
In addition to the 12 steps for Alcoholics Anonymous, the 13 affirmations for the gender-based men and women for sobriety, the 4 affirmations for smart recovery, which are a set of guidelines or rules, We work to help our clients uncover their purpose and their meaning in life. And we do this with logotherapy is what it's actually called. It was put together by Viktor Frankl many years ago. It's the third Viennese School of Psychology. We also do it through spirituality, and very shortly we'll be having Gay Hendricks Learning to Love Yourself. So we're trying to ignite our clients from the inside in their hearts so that they can be pulled while at the same time they can be guided with the programs.
Okay, so thank you for being here. If the audience has any questions, they can give you a call, 773-940-2960. Thanks, and we will see you again next month, fourth Tuesday of the month.